Hi everyone, so I'm going to get straight into this and hopefully it will all be okay. But yeah, this is going to be our exam anxiety workshop. We're obviously going to be doing it across all three campuses in person, which is quite exciting, but just so it's here for you now and into the future that you can always refer to. If you are feeling any exam anxiety, we're just going to go through some kind of tips and chat through kind of how we can help alleviate that. So hopefully this will be useful. First thing I kind of wanted to touch on is the pressure that we feel when we have exams. That can come from different places, but a lot of the time it is pressure that we're putting on ourselves to meet a certain grade or have different qualifications that we think that we're going to need. And actually a lot of the time we'll be okay. And we're kind of going to go through some of those points. But I just wanted to kind of get you to think about what else that you have alongside your degree. So kind of think, if you've had any part-time work or if you've been in any societies, anything that you've picked up just by being a human being and surviving at university, really think about what you've learned from that, because that's going to take you so far, just even without the thought of kind of qualifications alongside that. Those things are really useful. So it's important to remember that you've learned a lot from those as well. Also remember who you're doing this for, which hopefully is you. These degrees are not like the be all and end all. As I said, you are more than your degree, all the things you're doing alongside it, but also you're here to learn about a subject that you're interested in. Learning doesn't mean that you have to get a certain grade. It means that you learn and you're going to make mistakes and you're going to be able to learn from those mistakes and grow because of that. So one particular exam is not going to dictate if you've learned anything. You've absolutely learned things. So just remember that you're here because you're enjoying this subject. And if you're not, then there are different options. But you're going to learn things no matter what happens at your exam. Also, make sure that you have a look at your plan B and plan C. There is no set journey in life. If you ask anyone that's been to university, they might have done a different course to what they're expecting. They might have gone to a different university to what they're expecting. They could have learned that through a particular society, they found a really big interest in beekeeping, and now that's what they do, which is completely unrelated to their course and a very random idea, but I mean, people do it. So you never know what you're going to learn at uni, and it can take you in so many different paths. So just remember that you make mistakes, you learn from them, and you go from that, and there are going to be different options. So no matter what happens, you will end up making things work. So do remember that. But before an exam, breathe. And I have put this as the first point because obviously we breathe all the time. We have to. It's part of being a human. But when we have anxiety, our breathing can increase in speed, which means that we're going to be feeling more tight-chested, and making sure that we control those breaths can help us regulate our entire body and keep our kind of nervous system just like, okay, we're calming our breaths. We don't need to go into fight or flight. One of the ways you can do that is box breathing or rectangle breathing. And if you don't know what that is, it is breathing in for the count of 4, holding for the count of 4, breathing out for the count of 4, and then holding for the count of 4. I personally prefer to do rectangle breathing, which is breathing in for 4, holding for 2, and then breathing out for 4 and holding for 2. Just counting your breaths can help you really focus on breathing, which helps you to regulate it. So if you are feeling anxious, sit, get yourself in a space and breathe and just count those breaths. It can be really, really useful. The day before, make sure you've got everything laid out. Choose what clothes you're going to wear. Pick something comfortable. You don't have to make sure that you are wearing the latest trend. Just make sure that you're going to be comfortable in that exam space, whether it is at home or in person. Be comfortable. That's the main thing. Make sure all of your things are together. So if you need a specific calculator or if you need different pens and everything, if you're allowed notebooks with you, make sure you have everything ready to go. and make sure you know where the room is as well. Did you go and see if you know where it is? Just it's so much easier to just know what's happening, have your route planned, and then get up, get ready, go smash an exam. Also, if you are going to study the night before, if you can have like a night just to like chill out, that's really good. But I know that loads of people study in different ways, and it's important to recognize that. So if you find yourself studying the night before, try and go over something that you know. And that might sound strange because you're like, I've got to try and just get as many facts in my brain as once. But unless you have photographic memory, it's probably not going to go in the night before. So just look at something you've looked at before, go through things, look at facts and be like, I do know that. Actually, I remember that statistic. This is really useful for this. And I did know that. It gives you that confidence to make sure that you do know things. And it can just be nice to help alleviate that kind of I know nothing thought. You do know things. You've been studying it for like at least a year. You've got it, okay? And make sure you eat something. Even if it's small, even if you are feeling a bit queasy, try to eat something. Having food and water in your body can help regulate your body. And again, it's just making sure that your body's like, cool, everything is normal. My breathing's normal. I've got food and water in my system. I'm good to go. And that will help you feel better. Sounds strange, but it will. Promise. Also, try not to ask people what they've revised. Different examples are good, unless you're going into something like a maths exam where all of the questions are going to be the same, but all of the answers are going to be the same even. In most exams, you need to make sure you're giving different examples to other people. Otherwise, it seems a bit suspicious. So if someone says, yeah, I've got this fact relating to this thing, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't even look at that area. Doesn't matter. You can bring in all of that information that you've learned. And if you are sat there going, I'm going into a maths exam where I need to make sure everything is exactly the same, there are going to be lots of different questions. And if, for example, you don't feel confident on one, but can answer all the rest, someone else might not feel confident on one of those others, but can answer those. There are different places you can get marks. So remember that everyone's papers are going to be different, and that is okay. When you're going into the exam, if it's an in-person exam, as I said, make sure you check where the room is. Knowing the route you're going to take is going to be a huge weight off your mind, so make sure you know where you're going. Find your seat and get comfortable. And I don't necessarily mean, like sit down, sit at the desk, get everything. Like literally get in a position you're comfortable with. If you prefer to like have your legs folded, make sure your water's somewhere that you can easily access it. If you've got, things around you, put them in positions that you might want to write on the side, for example. Get yourself comfortable. That is the main thing, that you feel as happy in that space as you can. Fill out like key information that you need to, like student ID, program name, and everything. And if there's anything on that front page of like key information that you don't know, just ask. Like if I don't know what the module code is, for example, someone will know. All the online things should be reasonably okay to fill in. And as I said, it's literally get yourself in that space, find somewhere that's a good space, make sure you've got your water, get yourself comfortable, feel as happy as you possibly can in that space. Is the tip. When it gets to actually starting the exam, I know this is going to sound really strange because so many people will be like, every second counts, get just write as much as you possibly can. Take the first 5 minutes to just center yourself and breathe. Do that, box breathing, rectangle breathing, counting breaths, whatever's going to be useful for you. Get into your own space. It doesn't matter that, lots of other people might have turned over a couple of pages, whatever they're doing, just make sure that you can regulate your body again, because that's going to serve you so much better, rather than opening the first page and immediately going, oh my God, I've got no idea what I'm doing, and immediately getting that anxiety building up. You want to just get in that space, breathe, and okay, I'm going to take this one nice and slow, get into it. When you do look through those exam sections, is there anything that's weighted heavier? If it's got more marks, see if you can give yourself more time to do those. If there are any questions that you feel more confident on, maybe answer those first so that you can secure those marks. And when you are going through those questions, read, reread, and plan. always read the questions twice, because if you're feeling anxious, you might misread things and end up, answering it slightly differently and bringing in different facts. So always make sure that you've gone through, underlined any kind of key things that they're looking for in that question, and then go ahead and answer it. If you do feel that anxiety building up, take a little break. It's going to be so much more beneficial to just kind of sit there and go, right, for a minute, I'm going to get my breathing under control again. Take a second, look at the ceiling, find something on a wall that you can kind of focus on. Get yourself out of that space for a second before going back in, because otherwise you'll be sat there going, oh my God, I don't know how to answer this question. It's really stressing me out, but I need to put something on the page because other people are moving on the page, and it'll spiral out of control. So give yourself that minute. It's going to be so much more beneficial for you. When you do get to the end of the exam, if you're in person, most of the time they'll let you know that you've got 5 minutes left. If not, do keep a little bit of an eye on the time, but they should let you know. Even if you're not finished, take some time to just kind of go through things, check over any answers, make sure that you're feeling happy. Even if you've got a whole other question or another couple of questions that you still have to answer, don't worry about it. You're going to be able to get different marks on the variety of different questions that are in that exam. So if you miss a couple of questions, it is not the end of the world. Go through, make sure you're happy, be like, oh, yeah, I could have added that little thing. You've already done like that whole explanation, so adding an extra thing might be an extra mark, whereas if you write one sentence for the next question, they might be like, well, that's not going to count. So it might. But checking over those answers can give you a sense of confidence that the things you've written are really solid. If the exam is online, obviously don't leave clicking submit to the last second. If we've learned anything over the last couple of years, is that technology will let us down. So make sure that when you go through, you're like, right, I've got 5 minutes left. I'm going to quickly check through. Yep, that's okay. I'm going to submit. Don't leave it to the last second. Just everything will go wrong. I'm not saying it will, but like technology, right? And then just once you've done that, once you've clicked submit or closed your paper, take a second to breathe. You have got to the end of the exam. That's it. That's like what the main big like anxiety was about. So just take a second to go, I did it. And you did it. You can leave. You can go out of that room. You're free after that, right? You may have other exams, but for that specific one, you're done. That is the length of the exam, and you can leave after that. And when you have finished it, make sure you have something that you are going to enjoy organized for afterwards, because it can be even worse if you leave an exam and then go, I'm just going to sit and think about it now. Oh my God, did I answer that correctly? More anxiety. Go do something fun. If it's going for a walk, seeing a movie, there are plenty of movies coming out soon. If any of those happen to be on a day you have an exam, go see it. Do something you know you're going to enjoy, and it'll help you combat that and not focus on that post-exam anxiety. And finally, please remember these things. Comparing your exam with friends can give you more anxiety. And I'm not going to sit here and say, don't talk to your friends right after an exam, because you're going to. Everyone does. But just remember those things, that everyone will have written different things. That is the point of most exams. As I said, if it's something like, if you've got a specific formula that you need to use, you're going to remember the questions that you struggled with. So remember that you've got marks throughout that paper, and something you struggled with, someone else might have done well on, something you did really well on, someone else might have completely forgot. That is the nature of exams, right? Everyone's going to be different. So try not to compare yourself. This is also one exam. There are going to be other assignments. If today isn't your day, there are other pieces of work that are going to average out your grade. It might be within that module or program. Like, there are going to be different things to help like average that out. And if several things have gone wrong, if you've got, extenuating circumstances, put in your extenuating circumstances claim. There are those safety nets in place. You can have those easy claims. You can put in a resit. You can always appeal marks. There are so many different routes. And as I kind of put in that final point, it is just a grade. We do put so much pressure on ourselves, but you're so much more than just one grade. And as I said, if you do want that, there are different routes you can take. As I said, you can resit, you can resit entire years. There are plenty of people that take a year out from uni, go resit an entire year, resit specific modules or specific exams. There are loads of different routes you can take that the university will support you with. But at the end of the day, you're so much more. You're so much more than an exam. You're so much more than your degree. There are plenty of people doing amazing things without a degree. So whatever happens, you will be able to succeed in whatever you want to do. And if you're sat there kind of thinking, I have to pass this fitness to practice test, otherwise that is going to, hugely impact it, you can resit. You can do it at a different point. You can take a break, go learn something in a different industry, come back, resit that, and then go into that industry. There is no set path that you need to stick to. And if anyone is telling you that, then they're lying. Because so many people do different routes and end up learning different things and having different experiences. And that's the point of life. You've got to have different experiences to be able to go and do whatever you want to do differently. That's the point of learning. So remember that this is just one exam, and at the end of the day, you're so much more than this exam and so much more than the grade you get. So good luck, and remember to breathe, look after yourselves, and have fun. This is your degree, so I believe you're going to do amazing, but look after yourselves. And remember, you have loads of amazing qualities about yourself. So look after yourselves, and good luck, everyone.